All right, we are here on a windy Wednesday. Don't forget hit like, subscribe, hit the bell. Going to do two short lessons at once. Wow. All right, standard form of quadratics. All right. Now, believe it or not, yes, all this information will be on your test, which is Friday, which is 2 days away. Yes. Now, here is our standard form. Okay? When it's in this form, our AOS is like this. All right? Now, if you follow through the process, okay, I am, if you haven't figured out by now that I am very big about learning the process, you have not been paying attention. Or you have a humongous chemical romance outside of school that you are killing the brain cells that has that information in it. All right. So let's get this started. All right. So this is written as ax squared plus bx plus c. We have this right here. So example A, find the axis of symmetry and the vertex. So what is the number in front right here? 1. Yes, it is 1. Awesome. So that goes right there. On your test, okay, all right, so did you see right here where it says ax squared? So a is actually the number in front. Yeah, that's why definitions have meanings. Okay, you actually get graded on putting the numbers in for A, B, and C on the test. Wow. Okay, what number is in front of X? Awesome. And what's just kind of there? What's left? No X's? 1. All right. You actually get, I think, what does it say up here? You get 2 points each for doing that on the test because you can't do the rest of the problem if you don't know how to set it up. Okay? Even if you're using some type of technological thing, if you don't know how to type it in right, it's over. Okay? All right. So to find the AOS, which is the axis of symmetry, we're going to plug in this stuff right here. So I'm going to plug in -2 where it says B because, that's -2. Okay. And I'm plugging 1 right here because that's what all this says. Now, I'm going to use my handy dandy calculator. Get all my tax stuff off there. Now, I'm going to use the N over D button because that stands for numerator over the denominator. I'm going to use negative parenthesis -2 to parenthesis 1. All right. If you notice, for those who are actually looking at the board or screen or whatever you want to call it, what is on my calculator is actually what is written on my paper. Crazy. Then I'm going to hit the enter button and I get 1. So this number is 1. So that's all I had to write right there. What? There's no X's. Do you see any X's up here? Because all mine live in Texas. Where's the X? Yes, B is the number in front of X. That's why we only wrote -2 right here. We didn't write -2x. Does your paper look like the TV? Does it now since you erased the X? Okay, that's really important. Okay. All right. So we know that this is actually going to be the X value for the vertex. Okay. Now, to find the Y value for our vertex, we're going to plug in 1 everywhere we see X. Now, you're not actually going to type in Y equals this. All right, so just you're going to do parenthesis 1 squared minus 2 times 1 plus 1. Again, let's see, I'm going to circle it. This right here, or this. What is in the rectangle is exactly what looks like my calculator screen. Then I hit enter. And what do I get? Zeros. That number most of y'all should be familiar with. And that goes right here. Now, on this part of your test, you won't be asked to find the other points to plot it. Like like we did with the 1A and 3A with the vertex stuff. Okay? It's just this and your max and min, and then you move on. So, the hardest part, believe it or not, the main thing is if you do this part correctly, everything else should go swimmingly. Because all it is plugging stuff into the formula and getting it right. Okay? Was that too horribly awful bad? I mean, even the people not taking notes said it wasn't that bad. All right, let's look at example B. All right, example B. What is the biscuits? That's the wrong thing. All right. What is this number in front of x squared? We don't want the x squared. We only want the number in front of it. So, -1. What is the number in front of x? 6. And what is back here? What's the caboose? -3. All right. And then we're going to take this information and plug it in right here. Okay. So, n over d, negative parentheses 6, close it. Go down to, oop. All right. I get 3. All right. So 3. That goes there. That goes there. This ear pad not on my ear is making my ear itch. That's really weird. All right. Now I take that 3 and I plug it in right here. Now, when you're doing this at a calculator, that is not a minus sign. That is a negative. It's this one right here. It's so negative parenthesis. Yes, it does matter if you type it. It's got to be just like it is on paper. Does my calculator look like my paper? Yes. Okay. I hit enter. What do I get? 6. You have 2 problems like this on the test. Yep. Remember, if you understand the process, okay, did you do all of it or did you just do this? Okay, all right. Well, did you do it? Okay. So this is 9, and then this is 18. Well, what's 3 squared? So, and this is like -1, so this is -9 plus 18 minus 3. Well, this is this, and this makes this 9. Well, 9 minus 3 is 6. So, we did. Where were you? We squared the 1. 1 times 1 is 1. All right. Remember, when A is positive, the min is the vertex, and the max is infinity. When A is negative, the max is the vertex, and min is negative infinity. All right. So this is super similar, if not identical, to what your problems are going to look like on the test. Wow, that's very awesome. My test anxiety would be lower. Oh, well, I know mine would. I get nervous taking tests. I'm just glad for my national STEM certification, I just had to complete lessons. If I had to take a test, I'd have to load up on the extra medicine. All right, what's the number in front of x squared for number 1 right here? 1. What's the number in front of x? What's the number? 3. All right, so we're plugging it in. 4 goes here, 1 goes here. I plug it in, I get -2. Dun, dun, dun. All right, we also know this goes here. All right. So if you I've been trying to harp about making sure stuff is plugged in exactly how it's written on the paper into the calculator. Okay, notice where that negative is. It on the inside or the outside of the parentheses this time? Inside. So we got to, yes, that makes a difference. It deals with that order of operations. -1. All right. Now, this other part, this is the new thing. Well, it's not new. We covered it like 1,000 times already. Or not really 1,000. It's been a bunch. All right. Our A is positive. That's a smiley face. So our max is infinity. And our min is -2, -1. Just super duper crazy hard, ain't it? Following the processes for these problems is not going to be the hard part. Switching from each part, there's 4 different parts of the test. Switching your brain from each part is going to be the hardest thing because you're going to have to make sure you're paying attention to your orange sheet. Okay? All right, is everybody good with number 1? We're waiting patiently. This is normally when I do a dance move, but my hip and my back is hurting, so no. Yep. Kind of been that way for over 2,000 years. All right, we good? All right, to the back. This is our second lesson. So, yes, I actually forgot that this was part of, this is actually what we should have had Friday. Sorry. Now, so we have all this stuff. So here's our x-intercepts. Okay. So remember, our x-intercepts are the opposite of this. Okay, so what's the opposite of -9? +9. What's the opposite of -2? +2. All right. Our point is -420. Well, this one. Write a quadratic function in standard form whose graph passes through the points. All right. We will know that this is the point because it doesn't have zeros as y values. So x is -4, y is 20. All right. So it's written in this form. So my 20 goes here. My x goes here. My q goes here. My p goes here. All right. So I'm going to clean this up. So this becomes 20. All right. So this is a times, let's see, -4 plus 9. -5 or +5? -4 plus 9. +5. Thank you for calling Mr. Jeffers' room. I'm fine. I sure can. All right, bye. All right. Love it when people call and decide they want to interrupt. Hey, you tall guy that's not paying attention, come here. All right, then -4 plus 2 is -2. Mr. Cleaves would like to see you. All right, so you need a walk. All right, what is 5 times -2? All right, this is super duper crazy hard. How do we solve this equation? Yeah, we divide by -10. All right, so that's how we know. Nope, bless you. That that A is -2. Okay, so now we write this -2 here. And then we write our +9 here and our +2 here. And we're done. What? Oh, yeah. I know some of y'all are like, what? I've done math for a long time. I've never done quadratics like this. Ever. I don't know why they think that this is a new thing. Like, I had math classes and engineering classes at UAH where people still use chalk. Okay. I don't know, man. That's when I thought I was going to be an engineer, and then I realized it wasn't for me. Aren't y'all glad I decided to change careers in the middle of my college taking? Y'all could have somebody else as a teacher. No, you're not glad that I should have become an engineer. You know, there are many days here lately that I think I should have stayed and become an engineer so I wouldn't have to be a teacher. Well, that's what you just said. You just said you didn't want me as a teacher. You know, I think there's another Algebra 1 teacher that has room in their class. You want to drive trains too? All right, go down to the practice. These first two numbers, no, it's no, get it that engineers are mechanical, electrical, and chemical, and all that. They also, that's what you would call the person that drives a train. My dad was a mechanical engineer, and he would also always say he was driving the train. Yeah. All right. So our x-intercepts are -5 and 4. So what's the opposite of -5? +5. What's the opposite of +4? -4. All right. Our point, I did that in brown, didn't I? All right, is 3 -16. Wow. So 3 -16. All right, so we plug it in. All right, 3 plus 5. 3 plus 5. 3 plus 5. Okay, it's 8. All right. 3 minus 4. Negative 1. All right. So this becomes negative 8. All right. So what does A equal? Yep. So A equals 2. So when we plug it in, the 2 goes here, the plus 5 goes here, the minus 4 goes here. It seems really confusing, but it's like some of the simplest math ever. I don't know why people try to make this confusing. I've actually heard other algebra 1 I've actually heard other algebra 1 students tell me how their teacher teaches this and like it made my brain hurt. Right here, that's a plus 5 from up here. That's actually where the Q is supposed to go. You know, like mind your P's and Q's. I don't know. They did drugs and they use weird letters. I just say okay and I just move on. Like, oh no, a new Hallmark movie. I hope that busy businesswoman from the city that moved back home finds love. I don't know. I'm not sold on it. All right. So, number 2. Negative 4 and 3. So, what's the opposite of negative 4? Normal 4. What's the positive? I've never heard it said like that. That's so funny. I love it. All right. What's the opposite of normal 3? Different 3. Awesome. What? You're missing a word. Manners go a long way. Please and thank you. All right. So this is a normal 4 and a different 3. I kind of like that now. That one's going to stick because it makes more sense, does it not? Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. Haven's like, oh, he's found something he likes. All right, so 2 plus 4 is 6. All right, 2 minus 3 is negative 1. So when we divide, okay, what is our A going to be? Yes, your 3 brain cells. Perfect. Now, there is kind of a pattern that these numbers here are the same numbers down here. Okay, so this would be plus 4, this would be minus 3. And that's it. And that's 2 lessons in once. Don't forget, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell. leave a nice comment. And good stuff, good things. Roll Tide.